Hello, it's the Burnaby Moving Team, and in today's we are going to give you a list of things to do to avoid moving scams. Here are some tips and a comprehensive guide on how to avoid moving scams. Moving with all your belongings from one place to the next is not uncommon every once in a while. There are always people moving. Because of the millions of people who move from one place to the next, moving services has become a highly lucrative business that is susceptible to fraud and moving scams. People who require moving services are now concerned about this. Many companies that offer such services are also involved in intense competition. This makes it difficult for them to offer reasonable quotes to get deals. These are the companies clients need to be cautious of. Do not choose the cheapest quote when looking for a moving company that will provide you with services. We have chosen to provide comprehensive information on how to avoid scams when moving. This will ensure that you don't get scammed anytime you move. How to find reliable movers. Do your research and find out as much information about the company you are considering. You will avoid being scammed and lose your time and hard-earned cash. Before you fall for the trap of dishonest movers and end up in distressing situations, it is important to first learn how to recognize them. Although many moving companies are legitimate businesses, there have been numerous complaints about scammers. It is important to know how to spot scammers when looking for moving companies. Before making your decision, it is wise to compare the rates and costs of several moving companies. You will be able to compare the rates and determine if you are receiving genuine offers or if they are scams. We receive many reports each year about scams and stories from people who were ripped off. Here are some tips to help you avoid being scammed or ripped off. How to avoid moving scams. These tips will help you ask the right questions about moving and identify signs that you may be dealing with a con man. Scammers will often give you a low estimate over the phone. They will also promise to complete the job in record time. This makes it seem like you are getting a great deal. Avoid such companies like the plague. It is not difficult to spot an untrue offer. You can simply hang up when that happens and move on to the next company. Many scammers have a tendency to demand a cash-only payment and a large upfront deposit, sometimes up to 50%. A moving deposit should normally be between 10% and 20%. Any higher than this could be considered a scam. You cannot dispute the cash payment or reverse it with your credit card company once you have made cash payments. The scammers are usually not able to reach you after delivery. You will be given a copy of the booklet that contains your rights and responsibilities according to federal regulations. This booklet includes all of the information you need. Before you make any bookings, be sure to read a variety of ratings and reviews. You can find out which company offers quality services by looking at reviews and past clients' complaints online. You will also learn from other clients what they think of scamming situations and how to avoid them. It is a good idea to alert the authorities if the company does not have a website. This is a key business asset for the 21st century. One company might have a website that does not contain any insurance or licensing information. This should be a red flag, as all moving companies must display their .dot numbers online. To avoid being scammed by moving companies, this ensures that only licensed companies are used when moving. You are entitled to request licensing information from your mover and have them checked out by the Department of Transportation. Any unlicensed mover should be avoided. It is a smart idea to deal with BDD-certified movers. A fleet of company trucks is a sign that reputable moving companies have a solid reputation. It is essential that you insist on using a company vehicle, not one that is available for hire or is not branded. Early warnings when choosing a mover. These are some of the signs that you may be dealing with a fraudster. When you call the company, they will answer your call with a generic moving company, or movers, instead of a company's name. The movers request a cash-only or large upfront deposit. Website of the company does not contain any required licensing information or insurance information. They only show positive reviews, probably written by employees. You might also find negative reviews from dismayed customers. A hired truck, probably a budget, Penske or Ryder truck, arrives at your door on the day of moving. Even established companies may use rental trucks during busy summer months. If you've done thorough background checks on the company, you can be confident that they provide honest and high-quality services. They won't provide you with a comprehensive value protection plan that will protect your valuable possessions. Professional movers should offer multiple insurance options to protect your belongings. They require that you sign blank pages of the bill of lading when you move. Never sign a blank page. How can you protect yourself from moving scams? Before you move, make sure to take photos of any valuables, such expensive furniture. These photos will serve as evidence in the event that you are required to appear in court. Take photos of all movers and their trucks. Also, ensure that all your belongings are transported in the same truck. If you feel you might be being scammed, dispute any credit card payments. Ask for a copy. Never sign blank papers, as this is a sure sign that you are being scammed. If you suspect that someone is committing fraud, contact an attorney. Make sure you have sufficient evidence. You can file a complaint with the Department of Transportation. Make a complaint to the BDB. Remember that information is power. Therefore, you must be as informed as possible about the moving business. To protect yourself against scams, you need to be aware of all your rights. You can also visit the Protect Your Move website, which is owned by the government. It contains useful information about relocation. A well-informed consumer is the best defense against scams when he does his research every step of their move. It's not easy to move. These are some things to be aware of. It is best to fax it in. If a mover doesn't require an inspection on your property, they are giving you a sight unseen estimation. Many homeowners have more stuff than they realize. Good estimators don't look at individual items but rather estimate their weight in bulk. A queen-size bed without a headboard or footboard is much lighter than one with a heavy, ornate wooden frame. Prices for moving are not just based on distance, but also on the weight and volume of your goods. A cursory glance. An estimator will not do a thorough walkthrough of your house without taking inventory of what you have stored. Good estimators will ask you questions such as, are you going to move all of the food in your pantry? Or will you eat it? Are you going to have a yard sale? If so, you are required to provide as much information as you can. Scam artists hold thousands of people hostage each year, stealing their belongings and refusing to release them until they have paid hundreds of thousands or more in cash. The deposit requested reputable movers won't ask for large deposits or cash before they move you. You usually pay at delivery. You have no control over the time you will see your items again if you don't pay upfront. Use a credit card to help you combat fraudulent activity when you do make payments. Change of name. Companies sometimes do business under different names to avoid the Better Business Bureau or other scammers. Make sure that the company has a local office address, information about insurance and licensing. You should have the complete name of your business on the phone, not moving services or another generic description. Ask for 3 references to make sure you are safe. These should not be random references. Call these consumers and ask them questions about their experiences. One good question: what was the most disappointing aspect of your move? Make sure you get the full list of names that the company does businesses as well as the state and federal license numbers. To find out if there are any complaints against the company, do an internet search. To inquire about the company's past, call the government's Consumer Complaints Hotline, 1-888-368-7238. Ask your family and friends for recommendations. The American Trucking Association, ATA, has a list of reliable movers. It's likely that your realtor has a list of the top moving companies in your area. Federal law requires that movers give you a booklet entitled Your Rights and Responsibilities when you move during the planning stages. This is not after you have packed everything up. You can choose to move with another company if you were not offered one. Packing costs. Moving is a tricky business. If you pack your belongings yourself, the mover is generally not responsible for any damage. You'll pay a lot more for packing materials and labor if you hire movers to do it. If you choose to go this route, ask about the experience of the packers. While most people are cautious, others just throw everything into a box and seal the lid. They don't care if it breaks or bends. Additional fees. Are you moving from a 2-story home or living in one? Most likely, you'll be charged an additional fee. You will be charged extra for moving to or from a 10th-floor apartment. The same goes for the 10th-floor apartment. Do you live on a narrow street? You will be charged a surcharge to transfer your belongings to a smaller truck that can deliver them. Insurance and valuation protection. All moving companies must assume liability for the actual value of goods they transport. There are 2 levels of liability. You should know the fees and how much protection each level provides. These are the 2 levels of liability that movers must provide. You will also find them in the Your Rights and Responsibilities When You Move brochure. This information should be carefully read and followed to declare a shipment's value. Full replacement value protection. This plan provides the best protection for your goods. Your shipment will be covered by your mover's full replacement value level. Your mover can either repair or replace any article that is damaged, lost, or destroyed while it is in its custody. This service is subject to an additional charge. To avoid paying this additional fee, you can choose the other level of liability. Full value protection costs may vary depending on the mover. You may also be subject to deductibles that could reduce your cost. Ask your mover about the details of their plan. This option allows movers to limit their liability for damage or loss to articles of extraordinary worth, provided that you list them on the shipping documents. Any item of extraordinary value, for example, jewelry, silverware, or china, is one that has a value exceeding $100 per pound. Before you move, ask your mover to explain the restrictions in detail. You are responsible for reading and making the appropriate declaration. Alternative level of liability, value released at 60 cents per pound per article. This option is the most cost-effective, but it provides very limited protection. This option allows the mover to assume liability at 60 cents per pound per article. The article's pound weight is multiplied 60 cents to settle any damage or loss claims. If a stereo component of 10 pounds, worth $1,000, were to be lost or damaged, the mover will only be responsible for $6.60. You should consider carefully before you agree to this arrangement. This minimal protection is free, but you will need to sign a statement on your bill of lading confirming that you agree to it. You will be charged the applicable valuation fee if you choose not to select this level of liability. These 2 levels of liability do not constitute insurance agreements. Instead, they are contractual tariff levels of liabilities authorized under the released rates orders of U.S. Department of Transportation. Moving companies may offer additional liability insurance that you can purchase or obtain for you if your shipment is valued at 60 cents per pound, the alternative level. This optional insurance is not governed by federal law and is not considered valuation coverage. This separate coverage will protect you from any loss or damage that is not the responsibility of the mover. The mover is only liable for 60 cents per pound, and the insurance company can recover the rest of the loss up to the amount of insurance purchased. You can ask your representative about the cost of this liability insurance. You should get a copy or any other document of this policy if you buy separate liability insurance through or from your mover. The blank contract. This should be common sense and not a scam. However, you shouldn't sign a blank contract no matter how much your feelings about the mover. You should get everything in writing. All fees and estimates should be included in writing. Also, your pickup and delivery times. Make sure you read the entire contract. If the box is just labeled office supplies, don't be content with it. Don't assume that the laptop computer will be there when the driver arrives if it isn't marked on the inventory form before he leaves. It is not possible to file a claim for anything that does not appear on the inventory list. Be the guaranteed quote. Federal law allows for 2 types of moving contracts. Non-binding estimates are not binding and cannot be increased by more than 10% from the initial estimate. Payment must be made within 30 days. A binding estimate should be considered a guaranteed price for the move, including any additional services. Additional services, such as unpacking, may be requested within 30 days of delivery. Do you think you are getting a not-to-exceed binding contract that is unambiguous and irrevocable? Pay attention to the fine print. It will not exceed the price unless your items weigh more than the estimate. This is the final price. Or, you want to feel completely satisfied with a weight estimate. There may be 3 estimates from different moving companies. In some cases, the higher estimate may make you feel more secure. Movers first weigh their trucks empty and then weigh them again with your belongings to determine how heavy they are. The window of opportunity. Show of hands, how many people have moved to another country and left behind at least 2 boxes? You only have 9 months to report any damage to the moving company or file an insurance claim. When the movers unload, get assistance from your friends. Open each box and inspect it for any obvious damage. Before signing the bill of lading, it is a good idea to note the issue on the copy provided by the mover. Your mover has 30 days from the date of receipt to acknowledge receipt. He must either deny the claim or offer to pay within 120 days. If he doesn't have any evidence of the damage or before and after, it will be easier for him to deny it. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. To get a free quote from our professional moving team, click the link in the description.